Hello comrades, the Honey Badger here. Have you ever built an industry and you were kinda clueless why workers don't go to work there? Were you always confused how many people you need in your shop to satisfy your customers? What about the type of shop? Were you always going for the biggest shopping mall hoping your city will grow to overfill it? But in the end you're gonna end up in debt because it costs so much to build and maintain it, and you're never gonna see the day your city was overfilling it? If yes, are you, the aspiring Communist Party leader, spying on your workers to see what they do? Well, if not, I did the spying for you, so welcome to the guide that it's all about explaining your workers' behavior. Before we get into the guide, a disclaimer. This video does not focus on criminality or loyalty. I am planning to make their own tutorials. However, this is just focused on understanding how many workers you need to do your current objective. Also, this is part 1 of the guide. I'll release a later video explaining what shops you need to build soon. As always, the video is split into chapters, so feel free to skip away at any topic. Let's see the topics of the video. What type of citizens you have access to, what conditions you need to have your workers to, well, work, spying multiple days in the life of my citizens, how many workers do you really need for a building to run at full capacity? So let's get into the first topic, what type of workers you have access to. The first one is a baby. These little fucks don't contribute to your workforce at all. Even worse, they impact it negatively. If you don't have a kindergarten, their parent does not work. Instead, babysit them. They, double quote, study for 8 hours per day and 16 hours of free time. They don't go to any other buildings apart from the kindergarten. Then you have the child, the second class of negative workforce. They study for 5 hours per day, then sit in the home. They do not go to any other buildings apart from the school. The good part is once they grow, they produce normal workers. Student, the third class of negative workforce. They produce highly educated workers once they graduate. Uneducated workers. Oh boy, this one is the worst. He works slowly or not at all if a school is present, and he goes shopping and 5 hours per day at school. They mostly can be imported from the NATO countries, and it's a cheap way to increase your population fast early game. Normal workers, your bread and butter. Medium education, they work for 8 hours a day and visit lots of places. Highly educated workers, they work specialized jobs and also work harder than your normal workers. They work 8 hours per day and visit lots of places. Foreign workers, lazy bastards for money. They don't eat, they don't drink or have fun. They just go to work and nothing more. They work 8 hours per day, then disappear faster than your wife when a fake Brad Pitt account slides in her DM. Also, make sure you know how to differentiate between them. My city has 612 workers at the moment, out of which only 400 of them can work, go shopping, go to the cinema, etc., whilst the others are simply children that will not work and won't do anything else. What conditions do you need to have your workers work? They need to not be sick, to not have any garbage cans filled at their home or industry, to eat daily, basically to visit the shop, to be in a comfortable temperature range, and to have water, electricity, sewage, both at their house and at the workplace. Let's get to spying, shall we? What I've noticed is that the worker starts his day off by going to work for 8 full hours. Then, after he finishes, he teleports directly home where he spends a little hymn time praying to a picture of Lenin. From here, the 16 hours of his free time begins. Afterwards, he either goes to the shop for food, meat, electronics or clothes, grabs a drink from the pub, goes to exercise in the gym, or have fun listening about how great the communist leader is at the cinema. It does not matter the type of activity he is doing, or in the case of shop, it doesn't matter if he's buying food, meat, electronics, and clothes all at the same time. He will always spend between 2 and 5 hours in that. But on average, what I've noticed, it's more towards 3 hours. So I continued to spy on this pesky little fuck for 30 days straight. And here are my results. Firstly, he goes to work daily for 8 hours, so 30 visits at the workplace. He goes to the shop daily for 3 hours, so 30 visits at the shop. Based on other needs, he goes to grab a drink from the pub 3 times per month, exercise at the gym roughly 7 visits per month, and goes to the cinema roughly 11 times per month. The other time of his free time is either spent in his flat or at the doctor or whatever. Then his day starts over again. He starts working, goes shopping, then goes to fulfill a need, and then spends his time again in his flat. And the cycle continues endlessly. You might be wondering, what does this mean? Well, based on my observation, you don't need an excessive amount of buildings when it comes to pub, gym, or culture. Also, a preview from the next video, because your citizens is visiting the shop for roughly 3 hours per day. It means that per day, your behemoth shopping center can serve anywhere between 2,430 customers if your productivity is at its lowest of 30%, 8,100 if your productivity is at 100%, and a whopping 16,200 if your productivity is at least 200%. Let me know down in the comments how many cities you've built that reach the 8,100 threshold, and you didn't have to take a loan before reaching that point. Also, I kept the easiest question to answer last, just for funsies. Well, the number of workers you need to satisfy a factory is actually 3x the amount specified in your factory. So if a factory states 500 workers, that means you're going to need 1,500 workers. Why, you might ask? Well, over here the math is pretty simple. 24 hours in a day, workers work 8 hours per day, therefore everything has 3 shifts. So always multiply your workers by 3 and you're done. With that said, I hope you've enjoyed this part 1 of the guide and enjoyed the new video format. Part 2 of the guide really got me excited. I managed to calculate with 100% accuracy how many workers you need to serve your population at any given population number, something I did not manage to find anywhere at other content creators or on Reddit or Discord. Please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to get notified when that video goes out. Until next time, I'm the Honey Badger and I'm out.